Hi, my name is Thomas Rinfus. I'm a senior solutions architect on the Amazon Lex team. Today, I'll talk to you about how you can quickly get value out of Amazon Lex. Amazon Lex is a service for building conversational interfaces using voice and text, enabling you to add sophisticated natural language chatbots to your applications. It combines automatic speech recognition combined with natural language understanding. It natively integrates with AWS services like Amazon Connect, which is our contact center service in the cloud, Amazon Kendra for intelligent search, AWS Lambda to run code and call APIs. It has pre-built integrations with Genesis Pure Cloud and messaging applications like Slack, Twilio, and Facebook Messenger. And you can integrate it with any contact center using our Chime SDK. Today, we'll talk about a few features that accelerates your time to value. I'll start by introducing our automated chatbot designer that can use AI to give you a starting point for your chatbot based on the transcripts from your contact center. Then I'll show you how our visual builder accelerates the development of new bots with a no-code, low-code, drag-and-drop interface. I'll go over the bot examples for verticals that are now deployable straight from our AWS Lex console and talk a bit about how they can get you started faster. Finally, I'll touch a little bit on our Q&A bot solution that lets you deploy a fully featured questions and answer bot in an afternoon. Let's start with the automated chatbot designer. When you design a new chatbot, it's a long and manual process. Developers often spend hundreds of hours analyzing transcripts and gathering key information needed to design the chatbots. It's also not uncommon that they design the bot based on their best guesses rather than actual data. With the automated chatbot designer, you can base the bot design on the actual conversations your customers are having with your representatives. The automated designer takes care of the analysis of the transcripts from your contact center. It analyzes the transcripts and systematically groups them into intents and identifies the information required to fulfill those intents, what we call slot values. Things like date of birth, last name, etc. It removes overlap and ambiguity and presents you with a draft bot design. It's not a finished bot, but it gives you a good starting point from which you can add and remove slots, update the prompts, and add references to backend APIs. Here you see that the automated chatbot designer has identified a list of intents from the transcripts that I've provided. If I click on the reset password intent, I will see a list of sample utterances that the designer has identified for this intent. These are the phrases that would trigger the reset password intent or task. I dive deeper by selecting one of the suggested utterances. And there I can see where the designer found this phrase in the transcript. As you can see, it didn't pull the utterance verbatim, but removed the initial yeah in this case. You can also see below that below the sample utterances that it's identified 7 slot values for this intent, email and last name being 2 of them. Let me now show you our visual builder. Here's where you can continue to build out the intents recommended by the automated chatbot designer. You'll see the conversation flow and the recommended slots that represent the information that your representatives have asked customers when completing this intent. Let's go to the console and have a closer look at the visual builder experience. Here we are in the console. I've opened a bot here that's an example bot where we can book a hotel, book a car, and I have an account status intent here that I'm working on for something else. If we go into book hotel, we can switch to our visual builder down here. This gives us a better overview of the intent and the conversation flow. This is an easy drag and drop interface, allowing you to drag in new slot values from above like this and integrate them just by dragging these lines from one block to another. This gives a conversational designer an easier time to design out the conversation flow without needing to worry about the backend code. A programmer can come in and write the code later. If the code has not been implemented, it will always come out this success path, so you can test it without implementing the backend code. We start here with our start block. If we click on this little edit button, we can see the intent and the associated utterances for this intent. In this case, book a hotel. I want to make a hotel reservation. I want to book a 5-night stay in New York, etc. So we can collect slot values as part of this initial intent. We proceed here and we collect the location. What city do we want to stay in? What date do we want to stay in? Or what date do we want to check in? Here we're using a built-in slot type, so you don't have to build out the date yourself. That's already done for you. If we look at our slot prompt here, we have a little wheel next to that. If you click on that, you have an option of selecting play messages in order. If you scroll down, you have a message group. Earlier, you could provide different messages and they would be played at random. By checking the play messages in order, we now get these in order. So you can have an initial prompt that is short and to the point, a retry prompt with a little bit more information for the customer, perhaps with an example of how you can give a date. You can say things like tomorrow, next Monday, or January 14th. And then if they still fail, you can provide a DTMF fallback. How do you enter this using your dial pad? Please enter the date you want to check in using 4-digit year, 2-digit month, and 2-digit day. We'll continue, collect number of nights, what room type we want. Then I'm asking, would you like to leave a comment? Here I'm collecting a yes or no answer. And then we can make use of another new feature we have, a condition block. Here, I've clicked to add a conditional branch. And I'm just checking if the slot value for leave comment was yes. Then we go out this yes branch. So now we leave a comment. If we said no, then we just skip past the leave comment. Here, we're using our new Amazon Freeform input that allows you to type in anything, or anything you say over the phone will just be transcribed and stored there. So this is great for something like feedback on a questionnaire or to create a support ticket. We then confirm the slots that we collected. I have you down for a 5-night stay in London, etc. In this case, normally this is where this example would end, but I've added in another question. Would you also like to book a car? So we can upsell the customer at this point. And if they say yes, we check with another condition block. We can actually route them directly to the book car intent. So we don't have to first book a hotel and then ask, can we help you with anything else? And then say, I need to book a car. We can move more conversationally into the book car flow. Let me dial in and show you what this experience is like over the phone.
Welcome to Octane Travel and Hospitality. How can we help you today?
I want to make a hotel reservation.
What city will you be staying in?
New York.
What day do you want to check in?
Tomorrow.
How many nights will you be staying?
2.
What type of room would you like? Queen, king, or deluxe?
Queen.
Do you have any specific requests or comments for the hotel?
Yes.
Okay. What request would you like to attach to your booking?
I would like a room on a low floor.
Okay. Adding a message to your booking. I would like a room on the low floor. I have you down for a 2-night stay in New York starting February 17th, 2023. Shall I book the reservation?
Yes.
Would you also like to book a car?
No.
Thank you for calling Octane Travel and Hospitality. Goodbye.
Now in this case, I said no here. If I'd said yes, it would have continued to this book car intent, and we would have switched over here to book car. At which point we would have continued our conversation asking where we want to pick up this car, the date for that, etc., providing a conversational experience. If you're designing a customer experience for an industry vertical, like financial services or retail, it can be great to have an example to lean back on for inspiration. That's why we've created complete example bot solutions that you can use for inspiration. These solutions are available and can be deployed right from the Amazon Lex console. They're deployed using AWS CloudFormation, which makes them easy to maintain, and the entire solution can be removed from your account by deleting a single CloudFormation template. Let's go to the console again and have a look at how you can deploy these templates. In the Amazon Lex console, you'll notice we've added a new link for bot templates. That brings you to the bot template page, where you can select which bot template you want to deploy. When you select the bot template, you're brought to a page with details about this template. You'll find a brief description of each intent contained within the bot. Below that, you'll find a link to sample data that can be used to test the bot. You can also find a sample conversation that gives you an idea of the conversation that you can have with this specific bot. Let's click Create to deploy this bot. I'll keep the default parameters. You have the option of deploying a contact flow into an Amazon Connect instance to test this bot in a contact center setting. I'll copy the ARN from an Amazon Connect instance I've set up previously. Now I'll just check the acknowledge box and create the stack. This takes just a few minutes to deploy, so I'll pause the recording until it's done. There, we see that the stack has completed successfully. If you switch to the Resources tab, you can see what resources have been deployed as part of this template. Let's switch back to our other tab and have a look at what bots have been deployed. We see the two bots, Card Authentication and Card Services, have been deployed. Let's have a look at Card Services. We can check out the intents that have been deployed as part of this bot. These are the different actions that a user can take when interacting with this bot. Let's use our visual builder to get a better understanding for what we can do in the Activate Card intent. In the green Start block, we can see what the training utterances are for this intent. Here you can see that you can say things like, I want to activate my card to trigger this intent. When the intent has been triggered, we start by collecting a security code. That is a slot type that is an extended slot type. After that, we collect the expiry date, which is a built-in slot type of type date. And then we collect the PIN, which is of Amazon number. Once we've collected those, we play back a confirmation asking if we should go ahead and activate your card. In Amazon Connect, you can choose to go to phone numbers and then claim a new number. Select the country you want to claim this number in and choose an available number. In the drop-down for contact flow, select the card services flow that would have been deployed into your account as part of this template and click Save. We can now dial in to test the bot. Make sure to use the test data that we looked at earlier when you're testing this bot.
Welcome to Any Bank. How can we help you today?
I want to activate my card.
Got it. Please enter the security code or CVV number printed on the back of your card.
I'll enter 123 here.
And what's the expiry date on the card?
January 2025.
Got it. To activate your card, you need to set a PIN. Please enter a choice of your PIN.
And I just entered 1234 here.
Got it. Should I go ahead and activate your card?
Yes.
Thank you. Your card is now activated and can be used immediately. Is there anything else I can help you with?
This will accelerate your bot building for this or one of the other verticals. I encourage you to check them out for yourself. Now let's continue with our Q&A bot solution. Q&A bot on AWS is a multi-channel, multi-language chatbot that you can deploy across multiple channels, including as a chat widget on your website, as a voice bot in your contact center, or using messaging apps like SMS, or even Amazon Alexa. I have a small demo of a fictional Department of Motor Vehicles I can show you. We'll start by having a look at the chat widget. Then we'll look briefly at how to add frequently asked questions. Then I'll end the demo by calling into the contact center, where I have integrated the same chatbot, but now as a voice bot. The Q&A bot solution can quickly be deployed using a CloudFormation template. So you can be up and running in as little as 45 minutes. Here I've deployed another open source chat widget called Lex Web UI to interact with our Q&A bot instance. I deployed this on a fictional Department of Motor Vehicles website. Here I can ask questions using any language, really. I can ask a question in Swedish. It'll detect the dominant language in this question, translate the question into English, go find the answer, and then translate it back into Swedish for me. But in this case, I've added some buttons to choose the language, so I will continue in English. At this point, you can type your question at any time and get the answer, but a lot of customers prefer to navigate the different categories of questions and the specific questions with buttons. So here, I will select that I have a question about a driver's license. And I want to know what this real ID thing is all about. So again, I could have just typed in, I have a question about real ID, and I would have gotten this same answer. Here you can see that I can add in things like hyperlinks to provide links to additional information. I can also embed videos. Here I've embedded a reInvent video as an example. Or if you want to embed an image, in this case, a QR code. So if you have an app, for example, you can have a link to the app, or if you have a product image, etc. Maybe you need to chat to a representative. I can type in my name here, and I can escalate this directly to a live representative in Amazon Connect. Let me switch to another tab here. We can see the chat come in. We can see the entire transcript of the customer's conversation with the chatbot here on the left. So the agent has an idea of what the question is. And since I typed in my name, my customer profile comes up here, and we can see my contact history as well. The Q&A bot solution deploys out an easy-to-use user interface for less technical users, where you can manage and add questions easily. In this case, we can just click Add here. We can give a question an ID. We can add in our question. My personalized plate was rejected, and provide the answer we want to that question. We can provide additional answers. If we go into Markdown here, we can provide hyperlinks and other embeddings. And under SSML answer, we can provide an alternate answer that we want played over the voice channel. So if we call into the contact center. Here we can also add syntax to tell the voice channel how to play back digits, numbers, etc. We also have room in here to display the buttons. So we can provide a button text and a button value, etc. Let me show you what this looks like. If we want to speak to an agent, we can say, I want to speak to an agent, etc. And the answer is, okay, let me route you to a representative who can assist you. And here we can also set a session attribute in Amazon Connect, or really we set it in Lex, but we can then read it in Amazon Connect. So we set a session attribute called next action, and we set the value of that to agent. Inside of our Amazon Connect contact flow, we can then see, we ask our question of our bot here. We see that we got an answer, and we can then check the value of this session attribute if one has been set. In this case, we set it to agent, and so we can then use that to intelligently route this call to an agent. You can also use it to do things like offer to send a text message. So let me dial in and give you an example of what this could be like. I'm going to use the same question that we showed here earlier on the chat. You'll see here that when I ask about real ID on chat, I get this example and a hyperlink. I'll now dial in to the contact center and get a different response.
Welcome to the Octank State Department of Motor Vehicles. Para español prima dos. How can I help you today?
I have a question about Real ID.
The Federal Real ID Act places new rules on which forms of identification may be used to board flights within the United States and enter secure federal facilities, such as military bases, federal courthouses, and other federal facilities. An Octank-issued Real ID driver's license or identification card meets these new requirements and is marked with a gold bear and star. Applying for a Real ID requires proofs of identity, Octank residency, and a trip to a DMV office. You need to provide a social security number on your Real ID application. Exceptions may apply. Would you like to receive a text message with a link to additional information? Message and data rates may apply.
Yes.
A text message with additional information has been sent to your phone number. Do you require assistance with anything else?
I need to speak to an agent.
Okay. Let me route you to a representative who can assist you.
There you see that we can both use this for intelligent routing, and in the previous question here, we went down this offer SMS path, and we have some logic here to offer that text message and use a Lambda to send that text message using Amazon Pinpoint. Thank you for spending some time learning about Amazon Lex. You can use these links to learn more and try out what I've shown you today for yourself. At the top left is the link to the service page for Amazon Lex. Next to that is a link to a self-paced workshop where you can learn how to build Lex bots. On the bottom left is a link to a blog walking you through how to use our automated chatbot designer. On the right, you have a link to the solutions page for the Q&A bot solution and a self-paced workshop teaching you how to install it and configure it. Thank you again for your time.